Let's see.
Hey, hey, what's going on, brother?
Welcome, welcome. What's going on, man? Welcome to the
Oh,
Halloween edition of Retro
yeah,
Roundtable. I'm your
yeah.
boy.
I'm Rick
You
and
all
Reddit,
right
aka
there, brother?
Young Retro.
All right. I'm Maestro. Got the 1970s going on. Retro Maestro tonight.
So
How's it
I'm Rick,
going?
90s in the building, with the
Yeah,
whole blank era.
got that right. Got that right.
So for the agenda tonight, since Halloween is literally right around the corner, we're gonna speak about some of our favorite Halloween tributes, some of our favorite Halloween specials, etc. You know the deal. So first, I want to talk about what Halloween meant to me as a kid. So everybody knows that Halloween is supposed to be this scary, spooky type of yearly celebration that goes on. But me, I always looked at the candy. I wasn't focused on anything else. Nothing but the candy. I don't know.
Yeah, me personally, I was always into getting up and getting ready for the event. Picking out the best style, wearing the best clothes, just nice and smooth. Let them know tonight was a different kind of night. Know what I'm saying?
I dig it. I dig it. And what we do, we basically bring that flavor back because with the whole pandemic going on, kids couldn't really be kids last year, which is unfortunate. Hopefully this year is different, so things kind of slowed down a little bit. Well, actually picking up. And hopefully they'll get back in the spirit of knocking on doors, ding dong ditch. I don't know if they still call it that nowadays, but back in my day, we definitely called it ding dong ditch. And did you ever egg somebody's house, do like the toilet paper thing, the TP and thing? I never really got into that. It was too
No,
many police in the neighborhood.
no. Wasn't a mischief kind of brother. I was
Yeah, I
more
was.
peace, love, and soul.
Yes, sir. Spread that peace, love, and prosperity. I feel that.
That's it, right.
See, me, I live more
So,
like straight out of Compton. So, I was all about them drive-bys with the eggs.
right
Roll
on, right on.
block.
To each his own, to each his own.
But mainly the other thing that I loved about Halloween wasn't even just the candy itself. It's the fact that they had such an amazing lineup on all of the big three. Nick had great cartoons represented for Halloween, their Halloween specials. Of course, Cartoon Network had those unmatchable cartoon Halloween specials. Even Disney Channel came through with their Halloween specials, which is like the icing on the cake right there. They
That's
actually
right, that's right.
cartoon specials for Halloween. The Proud Family episode. We can get into that later on, though. Yeah.
Trust me. I had a whole little format of everything that I wanted to go down with, from episodes to movies to television
Movie.
specials, the whole nine. Everything is everything, man. That's where you want to get at first.
Let's see. Let's dig into the movies. I didn't even think about that.
All right.
Right on my
Name any movie you can think of off the top of your head that just kind of slides in that Halloween thing.
Halloweentown. Definitely. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Right. Tell the viewers out there what Halloweentown is all about. You did.
See, from my perspective, I don't know what Halloweentown was about because it's been so long. I caught bits and pieces of it, but the overall theme was the town was basically turned in and converted into monsters, zombies, ghosts, ghouls, you name it, but they were only that way on Halloween night. I don't know if it was something in the air. I forgot the whole concept of the movie, but obviously it happened more than once because there were multiple sequels. Matter of fact, let me look at this really quick. All right, so this is how it goes down. Of course, you know, Halloweentown is a Disney movie, a Disney TV original movie is how they called it, or a Disney Channel original movie. It was directed
Right.
by somebody named Dwayne Dunham.
Right.
Really ring a bell, but you know. So it says the film begins with 13-year-old Marnie Piper and her mother arguing over why her younger siblings, 12 years old Dylan and 7-year-old Sophie, can never go out on Halloween. Okay. So now it's kind of like bringing back a little bit. It's jogging my memory a little bit. So she was one of those rebellious kids. You know, cliche story. She was real rebellious. Didn't want to stay in on Halloween. Well, what kid does want to stay in on Halloween? I'm kind of on her side on this one because that's bad parenting if you don't even let your kid go out on Halloween night. Well, let me read more into this and see if this can be justified. Power to the people. Kids deserve the right to go out and get their candy. I'm saying.
That's right, man. Keep that piece. Get you a couple pieces, slide it in the bag, and then we ride out into the sunset.
Yes, sir.
Or
Everything's
the
all.
moonlight, rather.
What they say ain't a thing but a chicken wing, and if you got some grease, I'll slide you a piece.
Exactly.
So it says that the girl cannot go to a friend's costume party, and her mother offers no clear explanation. See, that's where she messed up right there. It's bad enough that you don't want your kid to go out on Halloween night, like the one night the kids live for besides the birthday and Christmas, but you don't even give her a reason why? Nah, it can't go down like that. This movie sounds scary already. So, where are we? Okay, so Gwen's mother, Agatha, oh, see, she sounds like a mean mother already. I don't know any moms out there named Agatha. So Gwen's mother,
Nada.
or Aggie, shows up to her annual Halloween visit. The children are happier to see Aggie than Gwen is, as Aggie openly encourages the children to get more involved in Halloween. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I missed something. Who is the original girl? Hold on. Oh, Maureen is the little girl. Maureen, that's her name. Maureen, or Marnie. Marnie, that's her name. So her mother doesn't want her to go out for Halloween, and her mother's name is Gwen. So Aggie is the mother of the girl who's throwing the party. So when Aggie openly encourages the children to get more involved in Halloween, Aggie and Gwen are secretly witches. What? That's why. So the mother doesn't want the daughter to get involved because she doesn't want her to know that she's a witch. Okay, that's starting to make sense. So maybe it's not just a one-day thing. Maybe they're just like monsters and ghouls and witches all year round. I got to get a little refresher. But I wasn't really a personal watcher of Halloweentown, but everybody I knew was into this movie. This,
Trust me.
the third one, you named it. So I'm definitely going to have to get that to watch.
Trust me. Anything that was cool back in the day, that was all that you would talk about. One of my personal favorite movies coming out was Two Heads Better Than None, starring the
Keenan
world
and
famous.
Kelly, yes.
Yeah,
And if
that's
y'all
right.
haven't
For
seen
those
it, it's
who don't
available on
know,
YouTube and on Paramount Plus.
exactly. For those who don't know, Two Heads Are Better Than None started off as a road trip with the Rockmores, sliding in, going out to the Grand Canyon, took a couple stops, brought their friend Kel. Then they learned about the legend of the Headless Night.
You
So
already
when
know
the car
rolling with the
breaks
Rockmore,
down,
it's going to be
next
some
thing
type of
you
trouble.
know, oh yeah, you got that right. Whenever there's trouble around, two heads start to come together. But anyway, back to the plot line. We go on into a nice little fancy, I would say, mansion of some kind where a brother offers them a place to stay while in the rain when the cars broke down. Next thing you know, everybody's getting axed off or missing, so to speak. so that then they find out the truth that the guy that owns the mansion is the headless knight, and he's looking for a head to kind of switch it out, so to speak. Tell you what, it's one of my personal favorite movies, mostly for the comedy, but in the end, cooler heads do prevail. Let's leave it at that.
They really do. And that's why you don't accept any type of kindnesses from strangers. Because old boy could have slaughtered both of them with ease.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
But with Keenan involved, I'm not even surprised that it went down like that. It's
yeah, exactly.
You know, won't nothing prepare you for what's ahead, so you might as well have two heads come together. And that's why it's one of my favorite specials. It shows the same Keenan and Kel dynamic, but they get into something a little deeper. I think it was a good move making it into an actual movie because all of that action and adventure, that couldn't have been squeezed into 30 minutes. Darn near impossible.
Got that right. Too much good. Too much good to spit in small time slack.
Oh, speaking of other movies together, my next one will be Ed, Edd n Eddy, Boo Ha Ha.
That's all right. Nice TV special. Jumping right into the TV special. Tell me a little bit about it for those who don't know.
So, of course, everybody's familiar with the Eds. So on this particular one, Eddie once again, you know, spits game about something that was passed down from his brother. His brother had a map, I believe, of the whereabouts of some type of treasure. I don't know if it was treasure or what the case was, but you know Eddie, he's always thinking of a get-rich-quick scheme. So he dusts off the map, tells the Eds about it. Then they go on this crazy adventure to find this made-up town of Spookyville that his brother told him about. So along the way, Ed is having these weird hallucinations of monsters and, you know, ghouls and all this stuff because, you know, he's a big, like, horror movie buff. So he's watching all these scary movies on Halloween night, so it kind of, like, warped his mind a little bit. So Double D and Eddie are like, what's going on with dude? Because he's seeing Rolf is like a giant man-eating, I don't know, I don't even know. It was just crazy because every kid in the cul-de-sac is, like, visioned as some type of bigger-than-life type monster, and it's all in Ed's imagination, and that's the crazy part. You would think he was on drugs, but he's just really, really, like, deprived and just, I don't know if he was sleep-deprived from watching the monster movie marathon, but Ed was just out of his mind, more than usual.
Out of mind, out of sight.
About the special, though, they went into some, like, really dark plot twists and stuff. Like, they didn't just stick to the regular, they're on a mission to get candy and get jawbreakers and blah, blah, blah. You know, the traditional trick-or-treating. They actually went deep. And that's what I like about it. It was actually an adventure. It was more like a quest rather than just trick-or-treating and getting candy the old-fashioned way. But you know,
right, man.
Some type of misadventure, so.
Yeah, nothing like a good adventure to get the blood rushing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. And
one of my favorites.
Nothing scarier than that.
Trust me, you got that right. One of my favorite TV specials comes in the form of a yellow-headed football head that had a Halloween prank that went completely wrong. For those who don't know, it's an episode of Hey Arnold when Arnold and Gerald decide they want to scare all the townsfolk by creating an alien spaceship out of a water tower and whatnot. All the kids gather around this alien, but unfortunately for them, Big Bob was on the trail, and he decided to take things into his own hands as he normally do. And as you know how it goes with them, wasn't the only thing beeping that night.
Always something going on with them. And that's not the first encounter Hey Arnold's took with something scary and mischievous. There were, what was it, the Headless Cabbie? That could have been the perfect Halloween special right there itself.
The Headless Cabbie. Tell me a little bit about it.
So the Headless Cabbie was an urban legend. Of course, Gerald was the keeper of the tale as usual. And as far as I remember the story goes, it was based somewhere back in maybe the early or late 1800s. And there was a woman who had a little Scotty dog, and she was out in the cold, pretty much looked like she was abandoned, had pretty much like rags for clothes. And then this, she asked this cabbie, of course, back then they had horse and carriage. So the cabbie pulls up on his horse, and the woman is like, excuse me, sir, I need a ride. So, of course, the cabbie being generous, he lets the lady ride. Her little Scotty dogs, in her purse, and she looks like an innocent, sweet lady. But then all of a sudden, from what I remember the lady with this deviant laugh. And cuts dude's head off, cuts the cabbie's head straight off. But the crazy part is he's still riding this horse and carriage with no head. And all you see after his head is cut off is just the image of her laughing like a demon. And I guess ever since then, the Headless Cabbie's been haunting that same trail or that same street for centuries to come. So I think it was Harold, I believe, that said everybody was too chicken to go back to that same street on Halloween. I don't even know if it was Halloween night. It might have been. Now, if it was, that's the perfect touch. But it was the same night that the cabbie got his head cut off or decapitated. So long story short, the kids end up there, and they don't even see the Headless Cabbie, but they end up scaring themselves out. They freak themselves out. So pretty much their own imaginations were actually scarier than the idea of the Headless Cabbie himself. But at the end of the episode, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I'm going to do it anyway. So at the very end of the episode, it turns out it wasn't just an urban legend. The ghost of the Headless Cabbie does appear. And that it still freaks me out to this day. I might actually watch that episode again tonight.
Trust me, gives me a whole new meaning to do the dog catcher.
Exactly.
Let me see. There another TV episode you got going on in your head?
I know I brought up Rocket Power.
Right.
Rocket Power, like we talked about on the Big Three for Nick, wasn't everybody's cup of tea because, it was cool because, you got your, riders on a mission, action kids in fun condition, everybody's surfing, skateboarding, blah, blah, all that type of stuff. But me being from the South, I wasn't too used to the whole surfing scene. But I did appreciate the show as a whole because of the character development. But this Halloween special, because again, I love Halloween. So this Halloween special took it to a whole nother level. So the episode pretty much consists of Otto, Twister, and Sam, wanting to, do the regular thing that guys do or boys do on Halloween night, egg and toilet paper some houses. No big deal. Just getting into a little mischief, having some fun. But Eddie of the Netherland, or Neverrealm, whatever he called himself, the guy that always had that Jason-type mask on with the Dracula cape,
Spooky thing.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but he tells them something. He wants them to go on an adventure with him. So, they can't back down because they don't want to look like chickens. They want to keep their reputation up in the school, especially Otto, because he's already the cool one. So him, Twister, and Sam agree to go with Eddie to whatever journey he's going to. And Reggie is trying to have their back so they don't stay out past curfew. So she's trying to stall Raymundo and, do whatever she can. That's pretty much all I remember about that particular episode. I don't know how the plot ends, but I do want to revisit that. More than likely on Halloween night.
It was the night before. It was what they called back in the day, little mischief night. People getting into it. People going out and doing things, illegal things they shouldn't do. If you want to know how the episode ended, let's just say 5-0 came around, brought them back to the kids, and then Halloween, they only had one piece of candy per person.
Oh, yeah, I can't get down with the pigs. 187 on them.
But that was a good one. That was a good one.
But
one of my other personal favorites came in the form of a square sponge that went out one night, tried to scare all his fishy friends. He was out trying to be a nice little ghost, but the problem is he wasn't a shape. He wasn't a well-rounded kind of fellow, kind of square, if you get what I'm saying. So now Patrick comes in with the idea to shave him down, make him round, and then they head down to the Krusty Krab. Exactly. They head down to the Krusty Krab, and the next thing you know, the Flying Dutchman makes a special guest appearance before everybody. One of my personal favorites right there.
I remember that one too. That was part of the earlier seasons. I think that was one of the best specials did as far as a Halloween special for SpongeBob, because they did have some after that, but none came close to the first one. I
You're right
remember that,
about
and I
that.
remember the thing that like threw me off is when he finally revealed under his costume, and it was nothing but bare brain. Patrick
Well,
shaved
he
him.
was always a thinking man's man, so it made a lot of sense for him.
It did. It. Now that's thinking with your head right there. And another one of
Exactly.
my favorites, which is rare because it's a Disney Channel original, was the Proud Family Halloween special. Now, for those of y'all who don't remember it, of course you can catch Proud Family on Disney Plus whenever you get the chance. But this particular episode had the then infamous Lil Romeo. He was part of the episode. So, from what I remember about this particular episode, once again, Oscar didn't want Penny going out to this Halloween party because of the fear that there were going to be boys there, which of course there were. But Penny just
Yep.
wants to go
One
to
plus
Little
one
Romeo
equals two.
have fun with her friends. But that's the price to pay when you have strict parents. So anyway, you know, she tries to find. There was much more to this episode. I think he eventually changes his mind and lets her go. So she picks out a costume and she decides to go as some type of superhero or Proud Snacks girl. Proud Snacks girl. That's the only condition where she can go out is if she promotes Proud Snacks for Oscar.
Right.
And that was the crazy part to me. So anyway, her, Dejanay, Zoe, and Sticky get to the party. Lassie and the also. I can't think of the moment what they were dressed as. They were probably looking fly, but they arrived to the party. It's popping. You got Wizard Kelly there. I think it was held in the Wizard Kelly Stadium or something. Then Romeo comes out with one of the best animated performances I've seen. Like he gets it jumping. And I think that's the one thing that stood out to me in that episode. Because yeah, it was scary, but just how hype it was, just the vibe of the whole episode. I advise everybody to check that out.
Right on. Right on. I know another one that comes to mind when I think of celebrities that jump out. We got That So Raven and their Halloween special when they decided they wanted to go out and be beautiful like Halle Berry. Only one problem was they got a little dairy and they turned into a bunch of cows before the strike of 12 o'clock.
Ooh,
One of my personal favorite episodes.
I haven't
They
seen
wanted to win
it.
the Halloween contest of sorts, but didn't quite pan out because they didn't follow that recipe to make it right.
Hmm. See, I ain't seen that in a good minute. I might have to give myself a little refresher.
Trust me, man,
That's
it's
all
one
right.
of the best.
Y'all want to check it? Let me see. That's actually. I'm glad you brought that one up. That was another good one. But it's been so long since I've seen it. I definitely
Yeah, it's been a minute.
that one. What else do we have? Um,
We had the graveyard shift.
Gravy SpongeBob.
Back in the day when SpongeBob got to work the night shift with Squidward, but unfortunately for him, Squidward decided we was gonna have a little fun, a little mischief of his own, bringing up of an old fry cook that used to work back in the day. But unfortunately, he lost his hand in the line of duty, and he was coming tonight to come and get him.
I remember that. What was the name of the old employee?
That guy that swings hash, they always make that cash. Hash slinging slasher.
The hash slinging slash. Oh, the lights will flicker on and off.
No, the
The
phone would
wall
ring
green.
and nobody was there. And then at the end of the night, a bus would drop them off in the middle of the night. We in the spatula, he taps on the window, and then before you know, it's all open.
And it's gone. It's
Definitely
gone.
a throwback right there.
Jimmy Neutron, the boy genius. He had himself a Halloween special. What was that one about?
Had a few that come to mind. That was the night they went out to the amusement park, little retro town, Retroville's little town, where they met the guy with the salami leg and the monster that came out,
The
turned
salami
out.
leg, that's what it was. Let's just say it was a chill in Retroville that night.
You got that right. Something a little phony with a slice of bologna, but turns out, moms had always had the last laugh on them until the real thing came up at the end.
Oh, man.
Like they say, ain't nothing like the real thing.
Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby.
Well, when it comes down to TV and watching and catching a good flick, one thing that always comes to mind are the shows that already cater to the Halloween type thing year round. One show that comes to mind is Our Real Monsters.
Yes. That is definitely made for Halloween.
Mm-hmm. And the best part about it is when they had their own Halloween themed show, what they had going on that night was people couldn't even scare the humans on Halloween, so they had to find another way to entertain. But knowing the monsters, monsters will be monsters, they find a way around this rumble to get the rules broken a little bit.
I can dig that. I can dig it.
Yeah, let's just say they had a mischief night of their own. What's
I think
another show that came?
I think Fairly Odd Parents had one. I'm pretty sure they definitely had one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what's another one that comes to mind? Flashing back to a time when there was a little green alien that lived among the humans, wanted to take over the world for the taller folk. What did they call it, man? Little Zim, the Invader Zim.
Invader Zim. Now, that was one of those shows that was so twisted you couldn't even tell what episode was made for Halloween.
You got that right. Year around town with others, another type of guy, back and forth, trying to prove that he was not the real thing. Turns out he never got the evidence that he needed because Zim was always one step ahead of him. But that's how it goes sometimes. Got to keep thinking on your feet.
That's like the one night he could actually go out without having to have his disguise on. And it's
You
crazy
got
because his
that right.
disguise was like a pair of human eyes. And that was it.
Mm-hmm. That's all
Girl
it
was,
was.
I think.
He was the puppet doll,
Yeah, he was supposed to be a puppy dog. Girl was actually my favorite character.
Mine too. Little robot buddy with the personality.
Oh, yeah, he had a lot of personality. That's pretty much all he had. He sure ain't had no brain.
You got that right.
What's another one?
Another good show that comes to mind, give me goosebumps all the time, was one of my personal favorites. One of my good times, all the time. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Oh, my God. I can go on about that show. That was Nickelodeon's version of Goosebumps. And I'm telling you, no Halloween special could even come close to the most random episode that they put out there. Because every episode was guaranteed to give you chills. Guaranteed. If you don't get Goosebumps, your money back. I think they gave Goosebumps for their money.
You got that right. Controversial right there. A little head-to-head battle.
Yeah, I think Are You Afraid of the Dark still come out on top regardless. It was still one of my personal
You
favorites.
got
No
that.
disrespect to Goosebumps, because Goosebumps, they did the thing to R.L. Stein. He was out there doing his thing. Got a couple adapted movies. Now that's one show they got to revise. If they do it, they need to at least do it for Halloween. I say we petition for a revival.
Hey, it could happen. You never know.
But you know how the man like to keep us down. They don't want us to watch good shows. They want to keep our minds controlled with these watered down BS cartoons they put out right now.
Hey, man, Fuzz was never my cuz, but that's another story. I digress. What's another good show that always came to mind? Always gave me goosebumps, but still kept a funk about it. Funky Phantom, kind of a Scooby-Doo-esque kind of show, where the Phantom will help them out every time. Whenever they had a mystery to unsolve, when the kids would go around being kids. Another show that catered to the Halloween spirit. Speaking of spirits with Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo had a couple numbers that went on. Had Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Monsters and Ghouls, Ghouls Galore. We got your new Scooby-Doo movie. You got Scooby-Doo Mystery. You got pup named Scooby-Doo. And you got number 13 of the Scooby-Doo. Trust
Pup.
me, Scooby
Dude.
was definitely doing overtime in this time.
Oh yeah, he definitely would. Oh man, you brought so much nostalgia back to me right now. Just talking about the,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking
Trust me.
about the theme right now.
Yep. They had different themes, had the Michael Jackson kind of theme going on with the movie, the new Scooby-Doo Mystery. They had the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. They had Mr. Van Gogh coming around, collecting the 13 ghosts that Scooby let down. We had Scooby-Doo, the original, Where Are You? Scooby and the gang riding around that mystery machine trying to turn things right side up. We had the pup named Scooby-Doo, where they went back to the old days, the retro days.
That was my personal favorite. Speaking of which, that crossover with Scooby-Doo and Johnny Bravo, that's one of the most perfect Halloween specials ever created. Not only was it a crossover, it went down in Cartoon Network history. Because I
You
didn't
got
think
that?
that Cartoon Network would actually have Scooby-Doo and the gang meet Johnny. That was just a mixture I could never wrap my head around, but they pulled it off perfect. They were looking for Aunt Jebediah, and what happened to the episode? Aunt Jebediah supposedly lived in this big spooky mansion, like in the middle of nowhere. You know, like what Scoob and the gang usually have to deal with. It's not their first pony show, so they already know what's going down. But they got Johnny along with them.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would hold them back, but he pretty much holds his own. He probably doesn't know what's going on, but he doesn't interfere too much. He's just looking for his auntie. And turns out the auntie don't even like him.
Mm-hmm. Gotta say, Hardin Gardner definitely had the little secrets they had buried away. You get what I'm saying?
I dig it. Speaking of digging, let's talk about bones.
Yeah, let's talk about
Let's talk about dogs. And I'm talking about courage.
it. You got that right.
Courage
Another one that catered to that Halloween thing.
always, always.
Trust me when I say it's brave little dog going around solving all those different crimes in a town where nothing happens and no one's around.
The middle of nowhere. That's literally what it called. Is it called?
Mm-hmm.
Does the town have a name?
Nowhere, USA.
It really is called nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
See, that still blows
Yep.
my mind.
Nowhere was everywhere those days.
Yeah, it really was. Everybody knows what nowhere is now. At least if you have,
Mm-hmm.
but you know where nowhere is.
Mm-hmm. Got another classic that comes to mind. Something a little gothic style. One of our old classics. All in the family. Family matters. All different types of family. You got the Addams family right there. Halloween special right there. 24/7, all around, catered to the cartoon.
Adams Family was dope. They got a new movie out, by the way. The Adams
Mm-hmm.
Family. They have a couple live action movies. You already know the classics. They pretty much have everything. They got a cartoon, live action, old school show from way back in the day. Adams Family been on that game.
Mm-hmm. And they still holding strong.
Still going there. Oh my goodness.
We got another classic that comes to mind. Give another gothic style. One of them old classics, like to call it. The guy with the Jew, Beetlejuice, of all time. Cartoon special, live movie. Cater to that Halloween thing.
Oh, Beetlejuice. That was a suitable name because he sure did have the juice. Always up to something, always scheming. Never really knowing the meaning, but I loved it. I love Beetlejuice. I love the old school cartoon. One thing I can't get out of my head is that theme.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't even really have any lyrics to it, but just the music itself was enough to just make you get up and dance. It was like a spooky type beat, but it was funky though. It was real fresh. I was feeling it, definitely. Beetlejuice is the man.
Mm-hmm.
Right on top of Freakazoid.
Yeah, got that right.
I dig.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't talk
Done it.
about bringing up Casper.
Oh yeah, Casper, friendly ghost, one of the ghosts that never go ghost. Always there when you need them.
Always. Yeah, Casper was
Tr-
that dude.
Yeah, trust
Casper's
me.
my whole perspective on ghosts.
Exactly. Man, he was a classic. He was one of the classics.
Man, that makes me want to watch the whole Casper series.
You got that right. Speaking of ghosts, we got ghosts out of this world. You talking space ghosts with coast to coast,
Hey,
live and in person.
Zorak, Brack.
Mm-hmm.
Brack is my personal
Trust
favorite.
me. Yeah, whenever they weren't fighting crime, they were out there hosting the town with all the celebs and the cats out there that were always fresh.
It would always end with Space Ghost blasting Zorak
Mm-hmm.
every time. It never failed.
Mm-hmm. Trust
Space
me.
definitely was my show.
Trust me. Got plenty of them, plenty of them. A lot of shows back then catered to that Halloween. Even shows going beyond the big three. One that I'm talking about in mind takes us back to those teen years. That one space little girl, what's her name? Oh, yeah, Sabrina with the animated series, with the live action. Even went on to have a couple specials of her own.
Sabrina. Oh, my God, a teenage witch.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I think about it, I think they revised that whole show, made it live action. But now it's based on a different type of concept. Now it's more demonic and gothic and emo. I don't know what happened. I don't know why they wanted to sabotage the original, but nothing tops the original. So they need to just let it die in peace or let it live on how it was.
Right on.
They
Proud.
don't recreate everything.
Mm-hmm. Got that right. You think about peace and pride. That's to go back all the way back to the Men in Black animated series, hunting down monsters, chasing the bad guy, shoot first, ask questions later. Got
Exactly.
your K, your J, your L, your A, B, C, the 1, 2, 3, every agent that you could be.
And that's the MIB.
Mm-hmm.
Men in Black.
Always.
Better keep you a pair of these if you ever around them.
Mm-hmm. Got that right. One flash, and
Yeah,
it's all in the past.
it's over. I love to have one of those in real life, not gonna lie to you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everybody would. Most definitely. Going
Especially if
back
you
to
got
one of my
bad
personal
report
favorites.
card, go up to your parent, flash it, never even know. Saved yourself
Trust me.
grounded for a month.
Hmm. Going back to one of my personal favorites, another classic that came to mind that always comes, always on time. That one pumpkin that never made it, the Great Pumpkin from the Charlotte Brown. Yep. Little Linus never got his Great Pumpkin, but Charlie Brown got his first invite to go around town with the rest of the kids, go to trick or treating. Got the tied tongue right there a little bit. But good old Linus always kept the faith, always stayed in place, waited for the Great Pumpkin to come around, get it down. But unfortunately, he just never around.
Man. Linus was the man though. He came through. He came through.
Trust me. There was always something going on with the peanut, you know, nutty folk, always. Oh, and that brings back to another classic that comes to mind. He's that cougar cat that always has the adventures, him and the puppy dog, him that I'm referring to is the man we all know, straight man, Garfield, the cat. Him and his Halloween always had to get a little piece of that candy.
Garfield and Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Now that was one cool cat right there. That was one.
Yeah,
Was that?
that's where it was. Always, always. Yep, him and Odie one night decide they want to go out and sail. They go on meet to a scary cabin. Next thing you know, they're in the middle of a ghost tale. And then the next thing you know, the ghost is on their tail, and they may not make it through the end of the night. But at the end of the night, Odie comes through. And the next thing you know, they do what it do. Get up out there real quick and then split that 50 candy 2 to 2.
I like that. Yes, sir. Oh man. I should be writing this stuff down. I got so many specials I want to rewatch. You just brought back so many memories.
Yeah, you got that right.
I
It
don't know
didn't
what.
even go way back. Trust me, it's a long way. But hey, Halloween is definitely an all night kind of thing if you make it.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely. I mean, I don't know what y'all got planned for Halloween, whether it's Fright Fest, whether it's just kicking back, chilling at home. Sorry for you if you got to work in advance. Trick or treating, if you're of age. Well, you're never too old to trick or treat. I'm just telling you that right now. You're never too old to trick. I might do it this year. I ain't even gonna lie. I might shave all this facial hair off and, you know, knock my height down a couple inches and I'll be good. Turn my voice down a few octaves.
Never know, man. Never know. Put on the show and then take it on the road.
But
But
if I
like I
don't,
said,
I have to go.
you never know. Never know.
That's why I keep these handy. Because if I want a piece of some candy.
Exactly. Exactly.
But Halloween, man, I wish we had more time to prepare for this. There's so much stuff I can get into talking about Halloween. And believe it or not, it is one of my favorite holidays. A lot of people don't consider it a holiday, but if you grew up in the 90s and you saw these amazing A1 TV specials, 9 times out of 10, these cartoon specials never miss. Regardless if you're a fan of the show or not, you will be a fan of that Halloween episode.
Hey, man, like I said, either you with it or you with it. Otherwise, you just didn't get it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Me personally, hey, I was always well rounded, never a square. All the quack had to bust 'em, just like the quack buster, Daffy Duck himself.
Yes, sir. Daffy Duck.
Always, always.
I favorite of the Looney Tunes as well.
Yep. Had a movie called Daffy Duck's Quack Busters. Daffy inherits a fortune. Daffy decides that he must do his civic duties and perform a service to the community. Goes out on a ghost hunt, especially when his cash starts to magically disappear. But before you know it, he goes on a couple crazy adventures, meet up a couple spooks, whether it be the Appalachian Monster, whether it be the Possessed Duck, whether it be Gossamer, Old Crazy, or the mad scientist himself. You never know what you can get into. But one thing's for certain, there was no quack that wasn't busted that episode.
Ooh, man, got me thinking about the quack. I might just have to bring it back one time.
Mm-hmm.
Looney Tunes Halloween. Was there ever a Looney Tunes Halloween episode?
Outside of that, they had plenty of shorts that came up short. But hey, trust me when I say there was plenty of Halloween going around when it came to those type of plans.
That's something I'm definitely gonna have to dig deep and dive into. Cause you know Looney Tunes, they pretty much did it all. So I wouldn't even be surprised if they had a Halloween special or two.
Trust me, they had a few.
Shoot, I'm gonna have to make it do what it do and see what's to these specials.
You got that right. I know that's what's on my agenda Halloween night.
That's definitely all I'm about to do. I have to take the day off and kick back and just watch straight up 90s cartoon.
Hey, like I said, nothing better than the retro time, retro round table.
Retro Roundtable building
We got that right.
all day. What else? Let's see. I feel like I missed something. What did I miss?
Well, I mean, there are some. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, those are pretty much all my favorites right there.
Well, I mean, there are a couple Renaissance classics, one a current classic, stuff like Grim and Evil, Mina and the Count,
Mm.
stuff like that that came on in the recent times. Danny Phantom, always a Phantom.
Danny Phantom. And I like how you said Grim and Evil because a lot of people forget that there was Grim and Evil way before Billy and Mandy. But people sleep on Grim and Evil. That was the originator. Ain't no imitator. But when Billy and Mandy came out, it wasn't nothing greater.
Hey,
But that, who else did we had? We had Danny. Oh, you said Danny Phantom. Uh, hmm, I feel like there was more.
trust me when I say, bro, plenty of Halloween to go around. But who knows? Maybe we can get into it for another round, see what we come up with.
Ooh, that's good. Definitely, definitely. I'm down for that.
All right, then. Let's kick it same time, same place. Get you another pace, and then we can slide right in there and knock this out another time.
You already know. So with that being said, it's time to go. Thank you for tuning in to Retro Roundtable. Tune in again if you're able.
Peace.
Peace out.